Yeah, well, I suppose my interest in art stemmed from getting really interested in painting at school. And I think the painters that really set me on fire were the German abstract expressionists. And I was just really, yeah, really kind of blown away by Otto Dix, his self-portrait as a soldier, where he's just glaring at what I kind of think of now as the lens.
Yeah.
But it's such a powerful image with such emotion in the brushwork. And that was definitely my gateway into feeling passionate about art and getting into the American abstract expressionists and seeing, later on how that unfolded into Rothko
Hmm.
and I suppose, yeah, quite messy, quite broad brushstrokes and energetic is definitely the
Hmm.
art that I seem to have pounced on when I was younger. And I think a lot of people, their tastes broaden out as they get older. But yeah, certainly painters and painting and Picasso, I still just look at and go, how could he have evolved so much in that lifetime?
Right.
It's just incredible.
Are you a collector?
I've got a few pieces. Some are friends, some are friends of friends' work. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a collector. If I had more money, I'd definitely be a hoarder.
So what about female artists? Are there any contemporary female artists whose work you admire?
Oh wow, that's a good one. Yeah, I suppose Maggie Hambling's amazing. I
Hmm.
just love her work. Um, and just so kind of like it's all about the painting, it's all about the subjects. Um, and yeah, I'm just trying to think of who else. It's that thing of when you get put on the spot, you're like, who am I thinking of? Um, Jenny Savile.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Yes. She would be right up your boulevard, I would think.
yeah, yeah, just really interesting looking at the female form and kind of going, and also working at a time when painting wasn't necessarily fashionable. So
Right. Yep.
that was exciting to see. Um, oh gosh, just trying to think. Um, I suppose, yeah, other. I mean, I think I'm also drawn to sort of arts and crafts and pottery and things like that that
Hmm.
taxed up the tactile work. But I can't, yeah, I can't tell you female ones, but Grace and Perry I find really interesting. Just the expression and politics put within art
Hmm.
is just so good. It's like such a brilliant kind of fusion that you didn't expect, and the thought and his interpretation of society, especially Britain, is fascinating. One of my best friends is a fantastic photographer. She's called Sarah Lee, who I was at school with, and we both laughed at going, how can we both have ended up in sort of quite seriously focused professions in the camera field
Yeah.
when we didn't really think we would go in that direction or think about it at all at school. But her work's really beautiful. She is an ambassador for Leica and
Okay.
she works for The Guardian
You're
and
still in
has done for
touch?
years. Yeah, we're like super best friends. We've known each other since we were 10.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she does the most amazing work that's so it feels like it doesn't even feel like it's very kind of casual, but she captures the essence of that person. It's never that posed. It's very you really feel like you're just in the room being it's like documentary, but she obviously does do stuff that is posed as well, but it always feels unique and fresh. And I don't know how she does it.
Do you get to play with a still camera? Is that something you enjoy?
I do. I don't do it as much as I should, but I love it when I do it because it's such a different way of working. It helps me work out perhaps new ways of framing things, but
Mm-hmm.
it sort of slows me down as well in a great way that I really enjoy, and kind of thinking just about one frame rather than the moving frame is
Yeah, I was
really
just going to
refreshing.
say. Yeah, I was just going to say it is it is literally, you know, taking that moving frame and just staying it still in that second with that, you know, one image. It is a contrast, but it's an interesting contrast, and it's useful, as you say, as a tool for your work, you know, because you see light in a different way, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking another amazing artist who I know and think is incredible is Bryony Kimmings. She's a writer and performance artist,
Mm-hmm.
and is very kind of very radical feminist, very funny. She's like
Mm-hmm.
extremely able to kind of pinpoint the characteristics of humanity and also herself, and uses herself as a subject in a lot of her work. And I did a documentary with her about single mums doing opera. She was like, there's never any happy endings, the women are never empowered. And it was just such a joyful project to kind of explore, well, why don't the female protagonists in opera, why can't they have a proper voice and not just be tragic and have things
Exactly.
happen to them? So that was a great project, and we've become friends, and her work is just makes me laugh, but also slightly cry at the same time. And she's really looking at kind of rebirth and how women evolve in their different phases of life, but also
Mm-hmm.
looking at that in conjunction with the environment, you know. So
Right.
small subjects,
Yeah.
but really, really wonderfully
Yeah.
done and very clever.
Do you get a chance to paint, or would you, if you have any spare time at all, paint
I
or do ceramics?
I do charcoal.
Oh,
So
do
I do
you?
life drawing in charcoal, and work with an incredible artist called Julian Labat, who is local to where I live in East Sussex. And he sort of trained with Bomberg, that kind of the artist in London, who it's really great. It's very interesting because it it's I suppose it's similar to expressionism. It's not about kind of getting the exact likeness, it's about the expression. And
Yeah.
he is all about looking as you're drawing and not necessarily looking at the paper. And you know, after a few sessions with him, you're like, oh yeah, this is right, this is I love this. So that's my kind of release, if you like, for instant art. That's what I
That's
do.
wonderful. And that's a challenge. That's a skill, to be not looking at the paper, but looking at the subject. Are you drawing from life?
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So
Awesome.
that's really exciting as well, because yeah, having that luxury is really
Yes. Yes. And so relaxing for you just to be looking to a totally different medium. It's kind of therapy, isn't it? Art is.
definitely, and because it's instant and you don't need anyone, you can just do it at home with whoever's in the room, you know, not
Yes.
necessarily tell them to get their clothes off, but certainly just draw them.
Do you do that with your children? Do you use them as life models?
Yeah, yeah,
Do you?
not just drawing, you know, maybe after some food or something.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes we'll all have a drawing session and draw each other. And
Oh,
so
that's fun. It's a fun
yeah,
family activity.
yeah, and my husband too. So
Oh,
we all do
yeah.
it. It's great.
Do you show your work at all, Annemarie?
Only once with an exhibition with this group that I have done the life drawing with, but I haven't done anything recent with the group for a
Okay.
bit. I've been it's that putting time down to do the course, but I hear there are some drop-in classes somewhere locally when I'm like, okay, I think I need to do that.
How about working with clay? Does that interest you at all?
I I would like to do that. I've only ever done that in conjunction with helping children with projects.
Mm-hmm.
But I do really enjoy it. I think that is another massive medium that is in all of us. We've all got that
Yeah.
connection to working with a material like clay, because I just think
Yeah.
it's just part of humanity.
Do you get time for reading? Are you an avid reader?
I'm getting more time for reading actually now,
Yeah.
which is good. And because often I kind of get rather, I'm going to read this non-fiction book and that non-fiction book, and just read a John Borman book on his kind of feelings about filming and ruminations, and Nicholas Roeg's one as well. And I love those because you can sort of pick them up and put them down without having to kind of follow the story,
Yeah.
if you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I do love a kind of novel when I can get to it, and going back to classic novels as well. So
And
Jane Austen and things like
yeah,
that.
their favorite. Okay, which is your favorite Jane Austen?
Oh, I think it has to be Emma.
Oh, does it? Okay.
It's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
funny, just the kind of the fun, and the fact that she's not so kind of aware of being in the center of it as well. I think it's just my childhood, perhaps going back on that and reading that is
Yes.
it's exciting.
Yeah.
Takes me.
Yeah, I can imagine it does. English countryside. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about writing? Is that something that you are drawn to? I mean, is that something you might have done?
I've never been strong at writing. I kind of would love to be able to be a writer, but I think that's probably why I've ended up in the visual world, because
Hmm.
I'm not so confident, perhaps.
Hmm.
I think if I was more confident, I would do it. But yeah, I'm lucky enough that I don't need to think about that just yet. So, but
Yeah.
it maybe one day I'd be like, yeah.
Maybe your memoirs one day, Annemarie,
Oh yes,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? I mean, it would be fun to look back and at all the productions, and the stories behind them as well. There must be, I'm not going to say bloopers. I'm not going to ask you to share bloopers with me, but the cool moments. I think, there's cool moments when you just stop and think, oh, that was really cool. I'll have that for life.
Yes. Yeah, that would be, I can imagine myself in a cottage in Scotland in the rain, remembering times. And yeah, that would be a nice way to kind of digest and reflect and
Yeah.
think about what's been.
Yeah, and somehow memorialize them. You know, maybe there's a podcast, right? There's a podcast.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You're doing a good enough job, I think.
um, so what would be, say, your major milestones then in your career, which has been very successful, like cover to cover so far, and we're only halfway there. Um, what if you look back? What would those turning points, those major milestones be?
I think getting my first sort of TV credits was a really great sort of foot in the door, and going, okay, I'm in this world, and once you get that, it's helpful. It opens
Yeah.
other doors. So the documentary world, and then I think doing records with a feature film that starred Claire Foy, who then became
Hmm.
famous in The Crown, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Sean Evans. So fantastic kind of trio of cast, and working with the director Dick Hood, who I did another film with afterwards. And that was a great turning point. We shot it on 16 mil. And it was before those artists had sort of got really famous. So it was a really lovely point to work with them in their career, and work on something that was very much a passion project of the directors, and but just really interesting, really
Hmm.
I still can watch that film now, even though it's at least sort of 15 years old or something, and sort of go, yeah, we did a good job. It still holds its own, and it's got a feeling, and it's got an ambience, and the performances are really interesting.
Well, that was a British production, and was when was that released?
It was released in 2011, and it was at the London Film Festival, and went to the Moscow Film Festival as well. And yeah, I did a really good festival circuit. yeah, kind of
Nice.
came out as a good newcomers film, which was
Yeah.
that put me on the map. I got an agent off the back of that film.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that was a turning point then.
yeah, yeah.
And any more?
After that, I suppose getting into getting into TV drama. So doing my first kind of Sunday night style TV drama, which was DCI Banks, with a lovely director called David Richards, who is no longer with us, but who is such a champion of women and diversity. And he went, "Have you ever done a?" He's a very lovely guy from Yorkshire, and he's like, had a very softly spoken voice. Have you ever done a pop show before? I was like, wanting to sort of go, do I say yes or no? But the truth is no. Is that going to go against me? And he was like, "Oh, wonderful, great. So you'll come at it fresh." And I was just like, "Oh, I love this man already."
Yeah.
And he'd say lovely things like, "Well, if it doesn't quite make sense in the script, we'll just make sure we've got lots of coverage and cut quickly." And he's definitely a kind of mentor, and older than me, different generation, and
Yeah.
just so kind with it as well. And it was, yeah, I did a couple of jobs with him before he died, so yeah, it was a real privilege.
Those moments, they're leg up moments, aren't they? And
Yeah,
when you look back at them, and how they do change the course of your career sometimes to and take you down an avenue you didn't maybe think you were going to go, or maybe thought was in the future, and you didn't know how you were going to get there. It might have been on your bucket list.
yeah, and I think once you kind of get let into those sorts of shows, if you like, um, then you've just got a tick. People just know, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you can make the schedule. You're not risky. You're this.
Yeah.
You're that. You know. So it takes some pressure off, and then you start getting more interviews for things. So it does
Right.
make quite a big difference.
Because you're a woman, and so you could be risky, right?
Yeah, because obviously men don't get offered multi-million-pound projects after their first low budget feature.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So
Now, we haven't talked about music, and I'm going to get you to send me your playlist, which we will use under our social media posts. Do you play? Did you learn an instrument?
I learned the piano.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't say particularly well, but I love music and have a big appreciation of music, and
Do you?
and it is something that I use regularly just to help me with my mood or energy, or it's the essence of how you are, really. And yeah,
It's really
it can be
important to you.
forgotten about. Yeah, and it can be forgotten about, and then you're like, oh, I'm feeling a certain way, and you're like, okay, I need to plug in and
Yeah.
sort of get something, be given some food.
So when you're in the car on your own, maybe driving to a job, what would you be playing? Would it depend on the mood?
Depends
Or
on the mood.
yeah.
If I'm nervous, I might kind of go into athlete mode and listen to some really kind of up music to be like, yeah, I can do this. Something like Gloria Gaynor, "I Will Survive" is a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Or Beyonce,
Would you be
great.
singing?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some Beyonce as well. It's
Yeah.
great for that,
Psyching you up.
Yeah. Or if it's, on the way back from a job and I've got a lot of mileage to cover, something kind of more soothing and thoughtful,
Yes.
and kind of American 70s rock.
American 70s rock.
But the
Okay.
calmer stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. The relaxing, the unwind as you drive
Yeah,
home.
yeah. Good
Yeah.
road music.
Good road music. Yeah. And so you mentioned there the nerves. Do the nerves still creep in then on a job before you start?
I think everyone gets first day nerves,
Yeah.
because I don't think you'd be human without them. So,
Yeah.
and I love working with directors who are older, and they're always like, "Oh yeah, first day nerves, absolutely. Imposter syndrome, tick." And you look at them and you're like, "Well, you're so experienced," and they go away as soon as you're sort of in the rhythm. So it's like even at the end of the first couple of shots or the first day, it
Right.
it
Yeah.
depends on how challenging a first day you have. Sometimes a
Right.
really challenging one's good because you haven't got time to think. You just do.
And maybe working with a new crew or new director. That's
Yeah.
it's anticipation and excitement, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think excitement of the craft.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's often it's down to kind of, okay, what have we got to do? Who am I working with? How's everyone going to relate to each other? Is everyone going to get it? And it's, you know, I have to say it's normally sort of the location that is the tricky thing. There often you get given a simple first day, not always, when you're in a room with a couple of actors, but it depends how big that room is.
Right.
And I've started in small rooms before, and everyone's just gone, oh gosh, that was hard. So
So at this point, then, who would you like to work with? Who's on your bucket list?
oh wow. I can't remember what I said the other day. Just trying to think. Well, hopefully I'm going to work with Bryony Cummings, the artist, on something much longer form and drama. So that would be a great job to start with soon. But I mean, I would love to do. It's more the types of shows actually. I would love to do something like The Handmaid's Tale, which is now finished, but something like that is really female led and expressive and kind of really about the central character's journey in a very extreme circumstance. So I think it's more the content rather than exactly who, because I'm pretty open to collaboration, but I think, yes, well, there's a multitude of interesting, really great female directors out there that would do more of that type of work. So yeah, rather than pinpoint who, I think it's the type of work.
Yeah, that opportunity. And there's so much out there in your future, Annemarie. You know that, right? So every day is a new day.
Absolutely, and you never know what's going to happen. That's the very exciting part of it. Like, which door will open today, and one phone call just changes everything.
Yeah. Now you have two children. Are either of them interested in what you're doing?
More sort of peripheral. So my children are more interested in film through music, actually, both of them. So my daughter is absolutely into singing and wanting to be a singer, and she does some fantastic songwriting, and she's only 10. So watch this space.
Yes.
And I very much sort of encourage her to sort of notice, say, on Outrageous, the project that's just out at the moment, the very fantastic young composer who is only 20, early 20s, and just go, look, she's doing this. And it's really exciting just to sort of go, give her little glimpses of go, well, look, there's plenty of areas that you can do music and composing. And being a singer is fantastic and completely follow that dream, but there are other ways to kind of get your music out there. So so I'm sort of encouraging that sort of broad brushstroke. And my son is very interested in, he sort of is the one that's at the computer writing the music. He plays the drums as well, and violin. So I think, and with a father in sound editing, he's set up quite well already to kind of make and be not the front man, but working away and making electronic music with some live stuff thrown in. So again, it's sort of showing him where you can do that and the different sort of canvas that you can do that on. So
very musical family then.
Yeah, from my husband's side. He was studying music when I met him, so
yes,
that's yeah, they were lucky to have that. I think lucky to have that support from a parent. I think that's a big part of it. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not musical, but actually, if you've got a musical parent or grew up with a musical parent, it's a lot easier.
Yes, yes. I'm just wondering if there are family band nights when you're all, playing and singing together. Do you have musical nights?
Not so much because I'd be on the tambourine if that was the case.
What about the piano? But you play the piano, you said.
Oh, but I'm the worst player in the family, so
Oh,
so I'll leave it to them. No, that has happened. It doesn't happen as much as I'd like actually, but it's great when it does, and it is very
yeah,
exciting. I sort of just join in and sing really and clap.
that's wonderful. How do you feel about, I mean, you'll obviously be a very proud mum if your daughter did make it to the stage.
I'm just sort of encouraging her 100% because if you
Yeah,
don't dream it, it won't happen, you know. So
yeah,
but also trying to give her a broad horizon so that it's like if you it's there if you want it, but there are other things out there too. And I think defining yourself by your occupation is a really interesting question. And it's that thing of like we are all artistic and we're all artists, but perhaps banking on a certain industry to provide that creative nourishment is not necessarily how you kind of need to perceive your whole self.
mm-hmm.
So finding pleasure in what you do, I think, is the way to do it, and that will give you the energy to kind of go in what direction you really want to, and not feel the bumps too hard along the way.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Very true. So what next then? I know you're working on Bergerac, you mentioned on the podcast. Do you have anything in front of that? Or I should
A
say
couple of
down the road?
questions, yeah, a couple of
Couple of
question
questions.
marks, but yeah,
Yeah,
it'll kind of it'll come out in the wash, as you say.
yeah,
We'll see what happens, but yeah,
yeah.
it's nice to sort of have sort of people saying, "What are you doing after that?" and
Yes,
maybe meet this person. So yeah, we'll
yes.
see.
Very nice. Very nice way to look at the future. And any time for a vacation? I know you live close to the sea, but do you have time for a vacation in between all these gigs?
Well, I was very lucky in between the last job that we went to Finland, where I heard the amazing ice melting on the lakes. So that was kind of a week in Finland. So I feel like I have had a very wonderful experience recently.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I probably won't get a summer holiday, but
Uh-huh.
we'll off it when I'm in another holiday later down the line whenever it suits. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. That's the probably the bit that you have to sacrifice every now and again is knowing that you're going to be on a holiday
Hmm.
and sometimes missing it. So such is life.
And do you get time for working out, or do you have any go-to activities that you like to do when you have downtime?
Yeah, I think running is a really important thing. It's something I come to later in life, more out of it's convenient and free. You can just step
Yeah.
out of your door and do it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, swimming it used to be the big kind of exercise, but it sometimes just gets too time consuming if you don't live near a pool.
Yeah.
So
You
if you've
don't go
got to drive to get to a pool, yeah.
you don't go swimming in the sea in East
Oh,
Sussex.
always. Yeah,
Oh, do
yeah,
you?
but not as a kind of my kind of exercise
All
regime.
right.
It's yeah. It I think when it's too rough, it's like no, you can't go in. So I have to
Yeah.
rely on really running and walking as my main kind of and yoga at home and having a yoga mat and just doing it online is a
Right.
good way to do it. So
Staying
yeah,
fit. Staying fit
yeah,
in mind and spirit.
yeah, definitely looking after the back for holding
Right.
cameras. That's a massive thing, and having a really strong core is
Yes.
so essential because without that, injury will happen. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm very lucky that kind of probably the swimming set me up very well.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, for the
it,
broad shoulders. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely kind of you can find it quickly again. You know, if you feel like, oh, I need to get a bit fit. I think
Yeah.
having done that in my 20s and 30s makes a big difference.
You
So
can pick it up again. Do you
yeah,
do weights?
I'm starting to. So that's
Yeah.
another thing. Yeah, definitely important again, in your 40s to start doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It becomes more important as you get older. Even, as you say, the core is so important and the balance and flexibility and stuff. But the strength it's more fashionable. I think seems rightly fashionable now for women to be, focusing on, bodybuilding in a way, just to
Yeah.
maintain their strength through their advancing years. Yeah, it's
I'm
important.
so pleased it's fashionable for the younger generation because obviously
Right. Yeah.
that will follow through as you get older and
Yeah.
uh, women of a certain age are definitely doing it now, which is it's so
Yeah.
brilliant that it's in everyone's kind of foreground.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. I've enjoyed this.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thank you
talking to
so
you.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
so nice talking to you. I could go on for hours.
I know there's so many things we could talk about. We haven't even started talking about film or movie making at all. No, we haven't even
No.
we haven't gone down into the weeds yet. I wanted to spare you that because you could talk about that on all the techie podcasts.
Well, to be honest, I love just talking about the general sort of view because in a way you don't have to have all of the technical knowledge in the world to be a DOP because the cameras are changing all the time and keeping up with that is a full-time job. So actually, if you know what you want to do with the frame and with the light, that's sort of that's like the skeleton. And I think people can be a bit blinded by all the technical side of things. And obviously you need an understanding of that. And that's why photography is such a good background baseline to start from, because it just gives you that essence of like how a camera works, and then you can understand how a moving camera works. But I'm always asking technical questions to loads of other people out there in the community, and that's good. It just means you're keeping up with what's going on, but
Right.
it's about how you can make that work for what you want to express.
Yeah. Very much so, but it does, as you say, come down to the basics because there are things are so technical now in gear that you can get buried in the technicalities of it when it always comes down to the basics with anything, doesn't it? It always
Yeah,
comes down to the basics.
yeah. If you know what you want to say and why, or you know
Yeah.
what you want to express for this certain character, and where they are in their story, and how you can use your different tools, if you like, even just it's really about, you can make a fantastic film on any old camera.
Yeah.
It's obviously helps when you've got all the extra kit to make it really kind of glossy and extra and
Yeah.
all of that, but that's why it's so lovely to see films that are much more lo-fi kind of do well, because it's basic storytelling and we're all wired for that. It's just nice
Yeah.
to get the kind of twiddly bits on top when you can and
Yes.
have all
All
the
the bells.
toys,
Yeah.
Yeah,
All the
absolutely.
bells
But
and whistles. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, but not every story needs that. But yeah, it's nice to play with those and kind of not have to beg for them all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to be very grateful when I'm kind of going, oh, I wish I could have that bit of kit on each job. And you're like, well, I've still got an amazing selection already to start with. So yeah.
Yeah. You just want more toys.
Yeah. Where are
Just
my
more fun at
toys?
work every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good.
Well, thank you so much indeed, Annemarie, for coming on the podcast and for staying for the after show with me. That's been
Brilliant. Oh, sorry. They're really, really nice to chat, and thanks so much.